Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the Game Master for today's game of RuneQuest, role-playing in Glorantha. This video is the first in a series in which we will be playing through the RuneQuest Glorantha starter set with this fantastic cast of very talented performers. If you've never played RuneQuest before, do not worry, you are in the right place. This video live play series is going to teach you the rules and the world so that you can go and you can have your own adventures in the setting of Glorantha. If you're an old hand and you've played RuneQuest a lot, then don't worry either. You'll be entertained by our antics as we explore the world, and you'll have the opportunity to see all of the cool new things that are in the recently released RuneQuest books. Now I'm going to give a spiel about the game and talk a little bit about the world of Glorantha, explain all the exciting things. But first of all, I want to introduce this amazing cast that we are playing with. I'm going to start off by throwing to London Carlisle. And London, I'll get you to introduce yourself, tell everybody where they can find you online, and tell us about Varakos Wolfkiller.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is London Carlisle. I'm an actor and TTRPG enthusiast. You can find me online at London Carlisle on Twitter, my name, where I just post about the things going on, the streams I do. And speaking of which, I am the game master of Spot Hidden, a Call of Cthulhu stream. And I'm also a cast member of Ain't Slayed Nobody, a Call of Cthulhu podcast, in the Down Darker Trail setting with Bridget, who you'll meet very soon. But yeah, so I love Chaosium games. I love playing. And tonight I will be playing Varakos Wolfkiller. He is trouble. He loves death and he hates the Lunar Empire. So get ready for it.
Fantastic. That's absolutely great. Thank you, London. Let's throw across to Cynthia Marie. Can you tell us who you are, where people can find you, and tell us about Persona?
Hey everyone, I am Cynthia Marie. I am a performer, I'm an engineer, TTRPG enthusiast as well. You can find me on some World of Darkness shows. Just go type in World of Darkness if you like. Otherwise, I do a whole bunch of other streams. I love playing Call of Cthulhu, of course, and obviously playing RuneQuest. I'm very excited. So tonight, I'm going to be playing Vasana, and she's a bit of a Wonder Woman kind of badass, kind of boss person who has an epic bison. So yeah, also hating on the Lunar Empire. So we're doing the thing. Yeah, I'm really excited to play with y'all.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We have Bridget Jeffries as well. Where can people find you and introduce Yanioth?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Bridget Jeffries. I am the owner of Symphony Entertainment Gaming and Arts, which is a horror tabletop role-playing kind of hub club brand. So if you want to connect with me, honestly, just go to www.symphonyentertainment.com and boom, you can get connected to me via email or on my social media networks. But I think that's really interesting because horror is my happy place. So that's why I love Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu. I'm actually a community ambassador for Chaosium as well. So if you're interested in writing for the Miskatonic Repository or the Jonstown Compendium, feel free to contact me at bridget@chaosium.com. But horror is my happy place. But now I'm playing RuneQuest. Guys, I'm completely new to it. Never played it. Never picked up the rules. The thing I've done is the solo quest in the starter set, which I did not do very well in that one. So hopefully this character does significantly better. Speaking of this character, I am playing Yanioth, who is a high charisma priestess entertainer. She has really high ranks in dance and on oration, but she's also kind of like a priestess apprentice. So feel free to help me out a little bit, Jamie, if I kind of get lost or turned around because I'm still learning. She is very protective of her family, who are the other members of this stream. And she is actually the older sister of Vasana, but she looks up to Vasana as kind of like her big sister. So she cannot swing a sword, but she can swing her hips very, very well. She does not fight. She stands in the back, and you'll get to see a little bit more of her ruthless undertones if one of her tribe is threatened.
Absolutely fantastic. That sounds perfect. Thank you, Bridget. And last but not least, Dave, who are you? Where can we find you? And can you please introduce Mago the Fierce?
Yeah, g'day, my name is Dave. I also stream on the Chaosium channel where I am the keeper for our Call of Cthulhu campaign, which we're currently playing A Time to Harvest. You can find me online at Good Ship Fun Trip. And for this scenario, I am playing the indomitable Mago the Fierce. He's the size of a small truck. His achievements are too many to list, and he's a fierce opponent of chaos. And I look to strike out at its heart and make myself and my father and my Stormbull proud.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. That is perfect. So this is our cast, and I'll tell you, I am really excited to play with you all. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Let's talk a little bit about RuneQuest, just for those of you who might be coming in completely cold and really want to know what's going on. So RuneQuest is a tabletop... London's got the book, perfect. RuneQuest is a tabletop role-playing game that is set in the world of Glorantha, which is a fantasy setting that was created by Chaosium founder Greg Stafford. Now, RuneQuest is a mythic fantasy setting. It's in the Bronze Age. It's a little bit earlier, not as technologically advanced as some of the standard fantasy stories that we might be used to from other games and books and films and things like that. I was told, and I really like this description of RuneQuest, if the standard stories are that of King Arthur and of Robin Hood, then RuneQuest is the story of Gilgamesh and the Odyssey. It is epic in scale, and in the actual sense of the word, it is mythological, it is folkloric. Your characters work together to protect their tribes and their clans, and to go on missions using the powers of the gods, and fight beings of chaos, and work against, you know, your rivals in various tribes. It's a grand setting with a ton of adventure. It uses the BRP system, basic role-playing system, which if you've played Call of Cthulhu, you might be familiar with. In fact, if you played Call of Cthulhu, you will probably know most of the rules of RuneQuest, except there are also a bunch of other cool things added on top, like an incredibly visceral combat system. RuneQuest is deadly, and a single roll can wipe you out, so combat is always the last resort. There's also really cool rules around magic. Runes permeate every part of this world, and they form the building blocks of all of existence, and they are filled with magic, and everything in this world has the ability to manipulate runes and use them and cast them to create powerful magical spells. This is the woven aspects of the story. Now, if this is already a lot, don't stress. This is a starter set stream. We are going to be learning this as we go on. This is why we've got together a team of players who are going to, some of whom who are going to be learning as we go through. We have the experience to explore these rules, to explore the world, so that you as viewers can learn and experience as we do. And particular reason not to stress is because there's a saying in Glorantha and in RuneQuest, and that is your Glorantha will vary. It is a key part of this setting that, just like the mythic tales of our world, the mythic tales of Glorantha are different every time you tell them. And they're different for every storyteller. There's always going to be new interpretations and new variations, and that's just the way it is. So without further ado, let's jump into our story, our mythic tale that we're all going to be adventuring in together, with the first scenario in the RuneQuest starter set, a rough landing. All right. Very excited, and let's jump in. So, it is the year 1625 in the Orlanthi calendar. It is the dark season. That's winter. It's when the air grows cold and the nights grow long, and the beasts of darkness are seen prowling more about at the top of the surface world. The collection of you are heroes, you are champions, and you fought hard to gain that title. All of you have a host of achievements under your belt. You've done great things, you've fought in great battles. Now, some of you would have done these things together. Some of these things you have done by yourselves. Most recently, the biggest achievement that you have in your memory is you all fought at the Battle of Dangerford. This grand conflict was a battle between the Kingdom of Sartar, that is the kingdom of which you are all part, you are all Sartarites, and the Lunar Empire, which is this very powerful expansionist empire that has been trying to conquer and overtake the various provinces and regions that surround it for many years. This described to me a great way when I first started. You can think of the Lunar Empire as basically the Roman Empire, you know, expansionists coming out, and you can think of the Sartorites as sort of the Gauls or the Germanic tribes or any of the surrounding peoples that the Romans were trying to conquer at the time. They're very organized, they're very technologically advanced at the period, and they are absolutely ruthless in how they're coming in and trying to conquer places. For a while, they succeeded. They took over Sartar. They were overwhelming the place, and they started to set up their own governments until, led by a brave warrior called Kalia Starbrow, the Sartorites united in rebellion and struck out against the Lunar Empire. At the Battle of Dangerford, they dealt a devastating blow to them and managed to push them on the retreat and start to get them out of Sartar and out of Dragon Pass, the larger area in which Sartar is contained. Now, you were all there at the Battle of Dangerford. You all fought bravely. You did heroic things. Those of you like Yanioth, who wasn't literally there swinging a weapon on the front, was in the auxiliaries, healing people, stopping brave warriors from dying, and combating the lunar magic that was used to great effect to devastate the Sartarite ranks. But you all won victory that day. You all proved yourself. You showed skill, tenacity, and all kinds of qualities which endeared you directly to Kalia Starbrow, this grand hero and the leader of the rebellion. Kalia Starbrow, during the festivals after the Battle of Dangerford, when the torches were burning and the drink was flowing and everyone was singing and dancing songs of victory and songs and dances mourning the dead, gathered the collection of you up along with several other champions, and she entrusted the four of you with a task. Now, even being considered for a task from Kalia Starbrow is a massive deal. It's very, very important, but being given one directly, that's even more fantastic. The collection of you were told to, you know, take a couple of weeks off. You get some time to rest, but then to travel south to the city of Jonstown and to render assistance to her companion, Onagrim Holdfast, who is the city rex, kind of like the mayor of Jonstown. Now, it's a dangerous time in Sartar. The Lunar Empire have been pushed back, sure, but they're not beaten, and they will counterattack. It's just a matter of time. The spies say they have some internal problems, but that's not going to stop them from coming back and trying to reinvade pretty quickly. And Sartar has been kind of neglecting its internal structure. All of the warriors that would usually be slaying monsters that harass towns and taking care of all those important details have been fighting on the front. They have not been able to help. So it is critical that people like you head south towards Jonstown to try and help establish safety and security and keep the region at peace. So we are going to pick up our game as the collection of you arrive inside Jonstown. But first, I'm interested to hear what the collection of you would have done for a couple of weeks of essentially vacation after a big battle. The four of you are given some time off. Would some of you have turned and marched directly down to Jonstown without a second day's rest to do your duty? And some of you return to your family. Some of you go into the woods and retreat into prayer and commune with the gods. I'll get you each to give a sense of your characters and what you think you might have done. Anyone can jump in if they have an idea. Please, Vasana.
I think after getting the mission, Vasana would talk to her sister, understand what she was going to do, and start marching straight to where she needed to go next. Probably grab her bison, say hello, goodbye to some folk, obviously to Varkos and Mago, let them know where she was headed, but she's going immediately over there to start scouting what she needs to do.
You know, that absolutely makes sense. You are a leader and a warrior, and you want to get the job done as quickly as possible. So you go to speak to Yanioth. Speaking of which, Yanioth, what are your plans? What do you think you intend to do?
Yanioth absolutely loves and adores her sister and will follow her to hell if need be. But Yanioth cannot hide the disappointment of this whole attitude of let's go, go, go. Like, it's 2 weeks off. Like, I have needs that need to be attended to. We could be partying, we could be drunk, we could be celebrating, we could be dancing. I have base desires that need to be tended to, and you're trying to go on a mission. She gave us 2 weeks. Rest is important, sis. You really should rest. We should really consider resting. How about when I meet you halfway? We stay here a week, maybe a week. We get to know the people that we're traveling with. You can unwind for a minute, let your hair down. have you ever considered exactly how much blood saturates the soil after a battle? That is the and then she just kind of wanders off without actually getting an answer. But if you leave, she's on your 6. If you'll let her stay for a week, she is going to party that entire week.
I'll give you 3 days.
Bless you. I can work for 72 hours, or however many hours there would be in Glorantha. Yes,
yeah,
I can work for 3
that's
days.
right. That's right.
So thank you.
Perfect. All right, so you do have some time, and you probably jump straight to it, start to celebrate. Well, Visana, I assume you're spending most of the time, readying your bison, sharpening your weapons, and getting ready to go. That's the 2 of you sorted. Varakos and Mego, what about your thoughts? Varakos, please.
Rest and comfort is blasphemy. If I am to be worthy Humacht, if I am to be a living weapon to Humacht, I can't waste any time. If I sit around and don't sharpen myself as an extension of my 2 swords, then what am I even doing?
Fantastic. That is exactly the kind of attitude that your, focused high death rune and your worship of Humacht it would drive you to be. So this is brilliant. Now I want to ask, does this mean that you would head straight towards Jonstown, or would you maybe take some time to kind of meditate and cleanse your body, cleanse your mind? Do you sort of go into retreat for a while, warrior monk style, take some time out to refocus your mind before heading down?
Not at all. He presses on. He goes as pretty much as quickly as possible. But he doesn't. Varakos doesn't sort of shame anyone that does take the rest, that does try to clear their mind. Although he is Humakti, he is very respectful of those that also put their lives in the line to defend against the Lunars.
Brilliant. So you quietly slip away, probably while the lights of celebration from that initial evening are still dying down to cinders, and begin your walk down towards Jonstown, solitary upon the road, with only your thoughts to keep you company. Brilliant.
Just
That's
great.
fantastic.
On Varakos, I pictured, do you have like a horse that you ride on, or are you just stoically, you're going to walk the whole thing in 2 weeks and just like see where you get?
What's the price of a horse in Glorantha? Can he have one of those? Or
you're a hero. You could have access to a horse. Your character doesn't begin by default with one, but you could absolutely have come across one if you feel that it's something that your character would have sought out.
Since I don't start with one, I'm not gonna have one. You know what? The comforts. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
You got 2 feet.
Got 2 feet. So yes, he'll probably just start making his way there, seeing the walk as part of the physical training, I guess. Keeping him sharp.
Absolutely. Wandering through the cold, down south towards Jonstown, away from one battlefield and towards what is sure to become your next. Brilliant. Mego, what about you?
Yeah, so I come from a long line of like really accomplished warriors and things. My father, I was looking at my character, my father was like a rune lord, which is like the biggest rank you can get to under the Stormbull. My grandfather before him was a great hero. And I haven't really accomplished a whole lot yet. So I'm going to try and sort of just make sure my reputation gets the bump from this battle that I deserve. I'm going to hang around. I'm going to schmooze with Kalia a little bit. Make sure she sees me putting in the yards. And if everyone else is going to leave, hey, that's reputation on the table. I'll have that. I'll go in and talk to her and say how grateful I am for this opportunity. Make sure she knows that I'm going to put my best foot forward.
Absolutely fantastic. That's great. So you hang around, schmoozing. You probably hang around even a bit longer than might be advisable. Well after Visana and Yanioth have turned and they've left, but you're doing your best to be seen, and you're a mainstay around the campfire, telling the same stories over and over again. But hell, they're pretty good stories, so they probably work. Well, let's jump in and let's talk about Jonstown. Let's talk about your arrival in Jonstown. Now, the collection of you, while you were up at the Battle of Dangerford, got into a battle alongside a woman named, let me just bring up my my notes here to confirm, a woman named Nala. Now, Nala is the her wife runs the largest bakery inside Jonstown. And she has said that she will meet you at her stall in the market district of Jonstown and give you some food because you were, you know, comrades in arms. And she knows you're going to head down here to meet your companions. She says, meet at my stall. You know, you can stay there. You can rest there until you're all around, and that can be the central meeting place that you would all be at. So I imagine that since you left first, Barakos, you would be first to arrive in the city of Jonstown. I want to hear about everybody's arrival individually. So leaping to you first, you would come across this town, the sparse foothills that surround the city would slowly kind of give way, more trees would emerge, and as the area becomes more fertile, more hospitable to life, you would eventually pass the banks of a river and eventually arrive at the city itself. Now, Jonstown has huge high walls that surround it, much higher than any other town because they were erected by magic. When you go in, though, you can see that there is some superficial damage at parts of the walls. And even through the gaps in the walls where the gates are, you can see that some of the houses have been a little bit shaken. And you would know that this is remnants of damage that was done during the liberation of Jonstown by Kalir's army not so long ago. So the town is still in the process of rebuilding. As you get to the gate to walk in, coming in through the north gate, you will see someone who is sitting on a little chair by the gate get up and hurry to kind of stop you, get in front of you. They are wearing ill-fitting armor and a helmet that keeps sloping over their head. They look like they are about 14 years old, and they have a spear that they can't lift properly. They plant it in the ground, point it at you, push their hat up because it slid over their brow, and say, "Halt! What's your business in Jonstown?"
My business is to meet with, and then I state the name of, can you remind me of the name of the...
Onagrim Holdfast is the city's Rex, who you are going to be trying to meet.
Yes.
All right, you are a stoic and a relatively intimidating man. Do you think that you give off a deliberately intimidating vibe, or are you more just restrained?
It's more restrained. It's more just direct. It's like the bare necessity of what needs to be there. For the
Perfect.
moment.
That sounds great. In which case, the kid isn't too terrified. He nods a bit and says, "Oh, you must be okay. Well, you'll head aside and you'll quickly sort of point around at a couple of things of the city, introduce you to where you need to go, tell you where some inns are. You will probably want to meet with your companions before you go directly to meet with Onagrim. So I would imagine you would get a room at the, scarcest, most plain inn in the entire city, and then spend most of your days waiting at the market stall for your companions to arrive. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's anything else that you'd undertake in the city that you can think of?
Yeah, so he would actually just sort of kind of walk around and just get a lay of the land here. He's very interested in sort of the damage that was done. He did take part in the liberation of Sardar, so he witnessed Kalir Starbrow, ascend to the throne. So he's very interested in, just the remnants of that, and might even be thinking about people lost in that.
Sure. Well, you will notice a lot. There is quite a bit of damage to the walls, to several of the buildings. You will walk around the various districts of the city. It's divided into kind of two tiers. There's a lower area that contains most of like the Market District and Scholars District, and you will head up to find the upper city, which is where most of the administrative procedures take place. It's sort of the richer district. The biggest wound that you will notice in the city is the burnt remains of the lunar temple, the temple of the Seven Mothers, which is the lunar gods. And they had a temple in Jonstown from when they were around, and it has been burnt to the ground and it has not been repaired. You know that there would be probably a few people who worship the Seven Mothers and the lunar gods here, but they're probably being very quiet about that fact right now because it does not look like it is particularly in vogue.
Is there like a Sartar equivalent of the Seven Mothers, or is that just a lunar god? Like, we wouldn't know what that is.
Well, that's a really good question, and that kind of brings out some of the really interesting metaphysics of the Gloranthan world. There is a story in the Sardarite canon called the Seven Lightbringers, and that is about a quest that several of the main gods go on to try and liberate the sun, basically, and it's mirrored in the lunar myths. So it's there's kind of similarities, but no, you do not. There is not like a direct Sartorite version of the Seven Mothers. There is just kind of similar interpretations of a creation myth, but they come out in very different forms.
Gotcha. Cool.
Brilliant. You will then spend your days, you will return and you will wait at the small stall. Can you give us one just physical description before we leave Varakos for a bit of what do you think Varakos looks like waiting around? How does he fit in with the town? Is he standing out a lot? Let us know.
Yeah, so Varakos, he's probably like 6'2". He has his beard on his face. Probably sort of mixing in with the fur that's on his face is the fur of this wolf pelt that is around his shoulders. This is a beast that he fought and won against, that he kind of carries with him. And he doesn't just carry the remnants of that battle on him, like clothing-wise, he carries that on him literally physically. There are these deep scars in his neck from the claws of this beast. Besides that, on his arms, you can see the runes that have been painted there. But yeah, he's a soldier, and he carries two swords with him, actually. That's sort of his signature. He has this broadsword and this short sword that he carries in his offhand. So that's sort of a physical description of Varakos.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much, Varakos. As you wait, the next people to arrive will, of course, be Visana and Yanioth coming in along a similar road. You at least had some company on the trip, so it wasn't, too lonely and too dire like for Varakos as was. Yanioth, do you think you got enough partying in the 72 hours?
Listen, so my baby sister said I had 3 days, 72 hours. She slammed a week's worth of let's get it in 72 hours. So the first half of this entire journey, she's probably hung over like, whoa. She has a massive headache. She can't keep her eyes open. She's slowing her sister down, unfortunately, which she's very apologetic about. She knows her sister is ready to go and is super into it. But like, listen, the two horizons aren't meeting up. They're not lining up. She's hungover. It takes her a couple of days on this journey before she finally kind of, gets her shit together and is able to walk and actually be present.
All right, fantastic. And Visana, do you think you're well used to this by now, or did you maybe weaken and party a little bit yourself, or what's your story?
Oh,
Absolutely not. I did not weaken whatsoever. I stood my ground. I actually took some time to meditate, to pray to Orlanth and see if I can get any sort of messages going across. When we made our journey, I first put Yanioth on Basin,
thank God.
over. So she was probably riding upside down a little bit, which is probably why the horizons weren't necessarily lining up. Yeah, slapped her a couple of different times, various places to see if she kind of wake up. I would stop my bison every once it was just following. Probably smelled the air just a little bit to see if she can kind of sense if Varakos was heading in the same direction. She's pretty used to seeing Varakos's footprints. Very faint in the leaves or dust or whatever, but she could see them. So keep going down, and finally Yanioth wakes up. It's about time that you return to the living.
Hi. Thank you so much. I love him. I love him so much. And this is why I keep, and then she's going to do some really obnoxious kid. This is why I keep him so strong and healthy, because he's such a good boy. She's rubbing her fingers in through this fur. Would you like me to take foot and you take a ride? I feel much better.
I'll stay down here. It's fine. You stay on Molon, and I rub Molon in a certain way. I hope that he probably grunts of ah.
Great vibrating rumble comes through the body of the bison.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Absolutely, and you can indeed notice the faint footprints of Varakos, faintly in the snow as you go forward. You are well used to traveling, and fortunately, you're able to confirm that as far as you can see, there does not appear to be any lunar presence on the road down. You are well trained, and you take the time to stay up on top of the various hills and scout and look and check, and you don't spot anything. Now, of course, the lunars are crafty. They could be around here somewhere, but none of them in your eyes, because if they were, you'd have taken care of them. You head further down, and eventually you two will pass through these foothills until the trees start to grow around. You'll pass by the river and eventually arrive at Jonstown, coming in where this little kid gets up from the chair, sprints forward, plants the spear, and yells, "Halt!" His voice popping loudly. "What is your business in Jonstown?"
I love him. Anna, can we keep him? I love him.
We can't keep every single thing that you run into. Rocks,
But look at the little...
stones, children. We cannot collect them all.
But the helmet, it's just... Oh.
I know. I'm assuming from the kid's point of view, Vasana's actually a smaller in stature woman, so like you can only hear Vasana's voice over Molon. You can't actually see her.
Yeah, that's fantastic. He's a little terrified by the bison that could, knock him over at this point. He absolutely cannot see you. He will manage to stutter out, his voice popping once or twice. "I am a member of the Jonstown Guard, and I need to, for record-keeping purposes, know your business in the city."
Vasana walks over to him to his pole arm and like pops a knee, like so kind of like pops it out of his hand and like grabs it.
I'll need that back.
Yes, you could use a little bit of training with this, young sir. What is my business here is we have a mission that we were sent on. Did you see a warrior with a very large pelt of a wolf, almost as if he was carrying the wolf himself?
Yes. Yes, I know exactly who you mean. He went through to the North Market. I think he was. You're all warriors, all of you. You come to help us.
Yes. Now, just to be sure, this is the one that does the stare off. That he does this.
I couldn't meet his eyes, so maybe I looked away.
Oh, but you look at me just fine. Might not as threatening as him.
I'm sorry.
This poor kid.
It's okay. It's fine. I was just, asking questions. But here you go. And she like actually spins it and like tosses it up and hands it to him.
Very cool. Well, you're a trained lance fighter. So absolutely within your he's pretty impressed. You can see like admiration in his eyes as he watches. He will thank you. Is there anything you want to say to him as well, Yanioth, before you?
Yeah, Yanioth is actually going to walk directly up to him, and she is going to show the full deference where she actually goes down to one knee and she's going to bow before him, and she is going to say, "What is your name, young master?"
My name is Farron. I'm one of the new guards. Most of the soldiers are away fighting the Lunars, so we've taken everything we can to defend the town.
Farron, how absolutely brave of you. They're going to tell stories about you, Farron. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell stories about your bravery and your committed just demeanor. Thank you for your service.
He looks inspired. His eyes are wide. He's got this big smile on his face. He feels wonderful. You've really given him confidence. He will thank you both, and he will direct you through towards Virakos, and the two of you will be able to join him. Can I get a description of your characters as you come through into the markets and begin weaving through the people in this town? All these people spotting you, these low houses. It is a really bustling city.
Quick question before we leave the young sir. I'm assuming that we have a little bit of a coin pouch. Am I correct?
Yes, you would have some cash on you. Absolutely.
Cool. So like in a suave move, as like we're kind of like trailing off, I like look back and go, "You're doing a good job," and like flicks him a coin.
He will catch it, and you can see his eyes light up again. You've definitely made a friend amongst the city guards, so this is already a good start.
Technically, that's bribery. And you are arrested and shot.
Genuinely, bribery and that kind of stuff would be probably part of the course inside
good.
a place like this.
Well,
so,
you know what? On that note, because you brought that up, I'm going to whisper back over. If you see someone named Mado, just don't remember his name. Just pretend you don't know who he is.
Okay, he nods. He's gonna do his best. Fantastic. So the two of you head through. Can I get the descriptions of your characters?
Yeah. So Vasana, as I said, she's a smaller in stature woman. She kind of has armor, gold-plated armor, kind of like a greenish, brownish skirt. You can't tell depending on the sunlight. Very battle-worn. armor. She does have a very fierce scar going down her face. If anybody ever asked her the story of it, she almost died from getting the scar, fighting against a very powerful priestess, which is why probably Yanyath is very scared to like let her sister out of her sight. But after seeing kind of like a fierce scar, she's actually a really like good-natured, nice person. Bright red hair. She kind of like wears like a gold what are these called? Circlet. There we go.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
what are they called? Yeah, so she's your kind of typical warrior with the red hair, smaller in stature, but you know, don't be fooled. Just because she's small doesn't mean that she can't throw a lance or fight pretty hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, you are
Hell yeah.
absolutely a fierce warrior. Excellent. And Yanios.
Yeah, Yanioth, as soon as they walk in and Vasana tosses a coin, she throws her head onto her sister's shoulder. She's like, please, can we keep him?
Only if he pretends he doesn't know who Mago is.
Well, fantastic. I've always wanted a little Farron. So Yanioth is the half-sister of Vasana, but they don't look very similar. Yanioth is much taller. She has darker complected skin with really dark coarse hair that has beads, pearls, some type of jewelry intertwined between it. She doesn't have any battle scars because she doesn't go into battle. That's for those people to do. She does triage, or she does healing, or she casts certain spells that allows her to walk through a battlefield without being attacked. So that those people do things like that. She's more of the bard, the entertainer. So salacious is definitely the way she's dressed. I know you said that this is the dark season, which is winter. So she's wearing a dress that is cut in a way that's really like, hey, look at me so you can see everything that I'm working with. But she did at least have a fur coat that she put over it. But it's like one of those obnoxious fur coats that only comes down to like directly beneath her bosom. So it's kind of like being in the winter with like Uggs, a pair of shorts, and a tank top on. It's like, really, lady, what are you doing? That's her. But everything about the way she walks, everything about the way that she presents herself is very, hey, look at me. I can make you feel like you're the only person in the room.
Fantastic. Very, very cool. All right, that is great. Thank you. And the two of you will come through, weaving about until you will arrive at the stall. You will see Varakos off to one side. You will see Nala, who will have prepared a meal for all of you. It's probably like genuinely a nice meal like that she's prepared for the two of you. Varakos, I imagine you turned down the nice meal in favor for, you know, bread and water.
Question is, Varakos outside when we roll in?
I imagine so. You'd probably be sitting at the stall, right?
Yeah, he'll be sitting around the stall.
You're
yeah.
outside?
Yes.
Totally. Cool. So Vasana pulls out like a shorter kind of lance, like almost like an arrow, but like kind of long stem, and she throws it at Varakos.
Nice! Yes! My sister's a badass.
Projectile coming your way, arcing towards you. What's your reaction?
I just stand there. Or I just stay still. Seeing it's Vasana throwing it, I just stay.
It gets closer and closer and closer. Vasana, what happens?
I'm aiming right like above his ear, just enough to graze.
It slams into the wooden post right next to him, the side of the stall. Jumps, she goes, oh, but you stay completely still, Varakos, completely unconcerned as it like, you know, wobbles for a second.
I would like to think that it just would like literally graze the ear, as you said, and there's just like a drop of blood there that he sort of takes. He rises. He goes to you and he says, well, that's no fun. This is fun.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Oh my God, are you always this stoic? Please tell me that something comes out of this.
You've seen me in battle. You know that I can get excited. Quite excited.
Good to know.
That sounded so...
No, it's too late. She already took it and ran with it.
Brilliant.
I realize that your phrasing is a little off here, especially to my sister. She takes things literally.
I know. I apologize, Yanioth. I'm not good with words, Vasana. You know this.
I know.
Killing is one thing, words another.
But you didn't catch what? We're not going to talk about that now.
I didn't have to. I know that you weren't going to kill me. You wouldn't give me that pleasure.
No, I wouldn't.
Yo.
That's Yanioth's job.
I trust your skill. Dangerford, I saw what you did. You don't miss.
I don't. So what is it that you're eating here?
I have some bread, some water, a little grainy, but it gets the job done.
And who's your the bartender, barmaid, owner?
Nala will step forward.
Nala.
She has food for you that she can prepare and that she can hand out. The two of you will be able to sit and wait for Mago, unless there's anything else you want to mention beforehand.
No, thank you, Nala. I knew I smelled something more than stale water and old bread. Thank you so much. She throws a look over at Varakas.
Brilliant. Okay, so Mago, we will jump across to you now. You left really late.
Yeah.
You decided pretty much to hang around as much as you could. There was the main feast, then there were the after feasts, and then you started telling stories that just like lunch for the cleanup crew that were trying to sort of like get the bodies and then get the equipment and salvage. You were still being rowdy and telling your tales until eventually you woke up one morning and they packed up all your stuff for you very pointedly, being like, "Oh, we thought we'd be helpful, get you on your way." Do you think you took the message or stayed another couple of nights?
Yeah, no, I think once I realized that I wasn't getting a whole lot of the value was diminishing returns, that's what I'm looking for, I will head off and make my way. I also, like Varakas, I don't have a horse or anything, except while he had a cool stoic walk, mine's a light jog most of the way, so I don't think I left too much after the others. I just know that I'm gonna have to basically walk day and night to get there.
Okay, fantastic. So you're going to arrive not too late after. Well, you're a pretty active person. You're a warrior, so
look at me, mate. Think I can walk.
You jog the whole way, but it's good. You know, you've got your pack on you. You're used to this kind of travel. You will travel through as well. The trees grow thick. You stop the river. You come round until you two will, of course, arrive at the North Gate, and you will see this kid sit up. His eyes narrow for a second, spotting you, and then he rushes forward and plants down his business. Halt! I will need your name and your business in Jonstown.
Are you telling me that you don't recognize all this?
You must be the hero, the fierce one. Mango, you're Mango.
Mango? I've never even heard of that sort of fruit or vegetable. I'm Mago the Fierce, alright? Son of Arasis, grandson of Hasun, and soon to be Rune Lord of the Stormbull. And son, you'd better remember that.
You are a pretty intimidating guy, Megan.
Yeah.
So if he thinks it's funny for a while and then slowly draws back, realizing he might have been.
I also probably take it a beat too far. Go, does this look familiar? And draw my sword.
He drops his spear and manages to get it back up. I'm sorry. Yes. Mago, you're welcome in the city, and we appreciate your presence.
Good. It's nice to be recognized. Why don't you turn around and give me an introduction then? Gather all these regular folk up. Let them know who's here.
He walks forward and kind of coughs. A couple of people look over at the disturbance, and in a kind of high-pitched voice that pops once or twice, he will say, presenting Mago the Fierce.
I step forward and like hold my arms out as if expecting adulation, and probably get like a pretty lukewarm reception.
Well, we actually would have a mechanical way of looking at that because you have a reputation.
Oh, I
skill,
do too.
Mago. Yes. Now, this wasn't the first role that I intended, but if we actually look at your character sheet for a second.
Oh, hey, let me bring my character sheet.
Excellent. You will see up the top that you have a reputation skill. Now, everybody has reputation, and this is part of the passion system, which I will explain later. But for the sake of this, why don't we get you to make a reputation roll?
Okay.
Now, your reputation is 14%.
Yeah, that seems
which is not fantastic, and you'll be rolling a D100. So it's not a huge chance, but hey, there's a shot.
It's just nice to be noticed.
Why don't you make a roll? Yeah, exactly.
All right, so rolling under 14, rolling a D100. It's going to show up at the top of this thing. 77.
Not great. So a couple of people kind of go, and mutter, and they go, is that? And one person goes like, just out of politeness.
Thank you.
Immediately made a friend. But for what it's worth, Farhan does his best to introduce you, and he kind of thumps the spear that he's picked up to try and build up a little bit of applause, which does happen. He will say that your companions are gathered together in the North Market, and he will encourage you to meet them there.
No worries. I head off towards it.
As you wander through the streets, can I get a little description of your character?
Yeah, definitely. So Magos is a big fella. He's dressed in like a breastplate and armor, although he probably keeps it like in a pack while not in combat. Enjoys the sort of the airy, comfortable look, and he likes, showing off to people. He's got a cool bronze helm, which sort of also held under one arm, and a massive, like, chipped and divoted broadsword that's seen a lot of use. He doesn't take great care of his equipment, and will kind of like discard it and get new stuff if it begins to go. He's not really big on like leatherworking and things, so it's all a bit dinged up and shows the wear of battle. I probably helped myself to some of the leftovers from the most recent battle at Dangerford. Which I'm carrying with you. He also, just as he's walking through, he's very pleased with himself. So anyone who talks to him, he's happy to like stop and kind of get some attention. And probably takes quite a while getting to the market, only having to remind himself he's already late and probably doesn't want to push the matter much further.
It's probably almost getting towards evening, and you're wondering if Mago is going to show today or if you have to wait till tomorrow, when at last you see the familiar large shape of your companion wander into the square, clock the three of you, and begin to head over. It's not hard to miss. There's a large bison nearby.
I head over, and I stand just far enough that they'll notice me first, and wait for everyone to be excited that he's finally turned up.
Definitely
Yanni is going to take this to a 12.
Not looking at him.
The sun has just risen on Mago's back as far as Yanni is concerned. This is loud. This is exciting. This is jumping around to other people. Oh my goodness, Mago is here. Mago is here. Oh my God. Like, this is a whole episode for her because she saw how he was like thirst trapping for attention right before she left. Oh. She'll give it to him. That's what she does.
Good. This I like. Yes, yes.
So Yanioth, you jump up, you start to throw forward waves. You get a couple of other people nearby excited. They're all yelling as well. Meanwhile, the two stoics of the group, the two of you are still sitting kind of glancing across at each other. Unless, Varakos, you're planning to also jump up in adulation.
Maybe next time.
Fantastic. All right. So Yanioth, you give this wonderful greeting, and then soon the four of you are sitting around Nala's stall. You can have a very brief conversation if you would like. It's good to see each other. You've all served together at various points, and now you've been officially banded together as warriors.
It's good to see you all. I trust you made your voyage safely. No bands of brigands and things on the road?
No, is that what you encountered? Is that what took you so long?
Were you fighting? Did you kill?
Would that I had. No, unfortunately it was more of a tardiness situation. I got strung up talking with folks. You know how they love me.
I love you. Oh, sure. Yes, they love you.
Yes. I trust you didn't have a grander entrance than I.
Why would I need a grander entrance? People already know who I am. I am a humble warrior who's going to do what she needs to do best and not have to tell people about it.
Yes.
Actions.
I suppose that's all true. Yeah.
He leans over to you and goes, I'm so happy that you're here.
Yes. Thank you, Yanioth.
Fantastic. So the collection of you, will be able to eat. You'll be able to share some food. You will be able to restore your spirits after your journey here, and you will probably make your plans to go and meet on a Grim Holdfast. Mm-hmm. That is the City Rex. It's a bit late in the day now for unknown reasons. No one's to blame is the point. Mm-hmm. But you might want to wait till tomorrow. So you're probably taking it easy, being a bit relaxed. The market will be starting to pack up around you when, as is wont to happen in stories of great adventure, something disturbs the peace. Four of you are just about to head home when from around the corner you hear kind of a loud sound of crashing and like the breaking and splintering of wood. It sounds like someone's dropped something at first, and it's just a little bit of a shock. A couple of people look over, and then you see somebody come around the corner, walking very fast, and they'll kind of go around. And then a second later, two more people, they're kind of jogging, and they're muttering, and they're pointing back. And then you hear another crash, and then yelling, and then underneath the yelling, this heavy guttural voice kind of, and more smashes and noise, and someone yells in annoyance.
Yeah,
Something's happening.
Go check on those people.
And she will bow, actually fairly respectfully, and she will swoop away to very quickly catch up on that second individual that did the power walk away.
Sure. So they're not injured. First of all, I'll reassure you. But they are muttering. Did you see it? The size of them? They're huge. I just don't want to be involved. So just get away. Someone else will deal with it.
Oh my goodness, someone else may deal with it. What did you see? Tell me.
One of them sort of turns towards you, sees you. You are pretty immediately identifiable as like a heroic individual. And one of these figures hurries towards you and says, "There's trolls around there, a bunch of them, and they don't look happy." Trolls. Very quickly, trolls in Glorantha, because Glorantha has this wonderful thing where all of the lore is a little bit baroque. There is some interesting interpretations on various creatures. Elves are not the same, dwarves are not the same, and trolls are not necessarily the same. Now, first of all, trolls are not the kind of mindless evil creatures that you might expect in some other fantasy stories. They have their own societies, they have their own cultures, and there is trade and, association between the trolls and between, humans like, and those people in Sartar. Often trolls hire themselves out as mercenaries and work for people in Sartar. That said, they are really big. They are really strong. They eat everything. Literally, they'll eat rocks, although they don't necessarily enjoy it. And they don't quite get a lot of human niceties. So these people aren't running going, "Oh no, it's a troll attack." They're going, "Oh no, there's some trolls here and they're going to cause a scene. This is a delicate situation and we're just going to get out of here. Some stuff sounds like it's breaking. It's probably not a great sign, but it's not a draw your swords and charge in."
Big
in
fight.
General, yep.
So
Please,
but they're not chaos is the big one, right?
Yes,
Because I know I'm
yes.
I'm not big on that.
You are absolutely right. So there is a distinction, absolutely. Chaos, the grand evil in Glorantha, is the force of, uncreation and all of evil. It is bad. And Mago, you are specifically sworn to destroy chaos. The trolls are not creatures of chaos. In fact, they too are sworn against chaos. And they're the kind of people, yes, exactly. They were actually cursed by chaos, and they have a curse in their bloodline which stops them from being able to basically have children properly. So they are sworn against chaos as well. Trolls would ally themselves with humans when there is a great chaos threat in the area.
So I think in this point, Vasana is going to get up. She just looks at Varakos, just like how she normally does, of like, "I'm gonna go check this out. Like, come with." And she looks at Mago and she goes, "Oh, you can come too."
Yes, battle.
So she battle? No.
Huh?
No. Friendly negotiation, yes.
Fine, but a challenging negotiation. Something for the diplomats to sing about. Everyone, watch this.
As the three of you begin to bustle forward, Varakos, did you want to say something?
I was just saying, if things go south, you know what to do, Mago.
Let's prove ourselves.
God.
Yes.
Yaniel, will you rejoin your companions?
As quickly as possible. I know 2 of them are really bloodthirsty. Actually, I think 3 of them are really bloodthirsty. So as soon as this troll is not even like, "Let me get more details," like who pissed it off, what's going on, it's like, "Oh God, let me stop them before they like immediately try to set it on fire."
Okay. As you dart around and you turn down Butcher Street, one of the large streets in Jonstown, which is filled with all kinds of butchers and things like that, and you'll see the trolls ahead of you. Yeah, things tend to work out. Now, that was an excellent point as well, Vasana. You are exactly right. Battle, very dangerous, often a last resort. Also, there's a little saying I like to have in Glorantha: if for every person you kill, every human you slay, there is going to be someone else who swears a blood debt of vengeance against you for having taken their cousin or their father or their brother or whatever. So drawing the swords and going to blood is a last resort, but it does happen. We'll see if the collection of you can avoid it, because a battle with trolls would be particularly nasty. You come around the corner and you can see down Butcher Street, there are a bunch of pretty nervous people who are frantically unpacking and trying to get their wares and merchandise away from 4 very, very large trolls. These things are maybe 10 feet tall, are really broad, and they are staggering around like they own the place. They are yelling in a language you do not recognize. This would probably be the troll language, and they are kicking out at things. You can see one of them sort of like snags a piece of like a large amphora of wine that was being sold and like bites the top off, chews it, swallows it, and then begins to slug down the wine. Another one falls over and lands in a wagon that was holding a bunch of chicken cages. Chickens go everywhere. It snags one and, like a cartoon, swallows it whole, burps, and feathers kind of explode out of its mouth. People are trying to get their goods away from it, but they're not, actively attacking people or anything like that. They're causing a little bit of mayhem. A couple of people will spot you and point and say, "Yeah, you please do something. You need to stop them," as they frantically try to go. What's your initial plan? What's the goal here?
Do they speak any sort of common language?
So there is a common language that a lot of people speak called trade talk, which you will see on your character sheets. You all have a little bit of. That's kind of like the unifying language, and they will speak that. So basically, you can talk to them in kind of halting trade talk. You have a language, but neither of you speak it fluently, effectively. Mm-hmm. You probably speak it better than them.
Does anybody have it? Can anyone speak it better than I can? I have a 20% chance of getting it right.
I'm 20 as well.
Thanks, where is this?
Under communication.
It will be on your
20.
Yes. Yeah, 20. Perfect. So you've all got a basic level of skill in it. And with a 20, I'm not going to make you roll. It might make you roll if you had to try and get across a complex idea. But this is more just have the idea that it's you're losing words. You're not exactly getting nuance across.
So knowing that, I'm going to use a little bit more body language trying to speak, and basically it's, can you please stop what you're doing and state your business?
Okay, fantastic. So you step forward and you go to stop them. Now, as you step forward, Vasana, I would like everybody to make a couple of rolls, and you can choose which one you would like to make. I have 2 rolls, and we'll walk through how they're made just to show people what the procedure is, and I'll have you select which one you would like to do. I will take a scan roll. So that is scan, that is looking around, trying to spot something, and I will take an int times 5 roll. That means you take your intelligence score, times it by 5, and you are attempting to roll that. So if you have, for example, an int of 16, that would mean that you would have an intelligence score of 70, and you would be trying to roll
80.
under a 80. Oh, thank you very much. My mathematical skill is just brilliant. Clearly, I had an int score below what was required. But yes. So and you're trying to roll under the corresponding value. So scan to spot something, or int to think of something. This will probably be something that you know about.
And this
trolls.
is us like noticing something that's going on. Is that right?
Exactly. So scan will be noticing something about you. Int will be something that you happen to know about trolls, and this is this kind of critical information. So you can make either of the 2 rolls, and so everyone pick which they would like to make.
I would say for Vasana, I'm going to go with the intelligence roll because she is speaking at the moment and probably doesn't have time to scan. So.
All right.
I'm also going to do intelligence.
All right, brilliant. So 2 people on intelligence, Varakos and Yenioth.
I'm going to go with scan.
Okay.
Scan, nice.
3 on intelligence and Varakos on scan. Let's start with Varakos then, and let's bring up your character sheet, and we're going to take a look at your scan score.
Please do.
Now that should be under perception. You have a pretty good scan score. You have a scan score of 60. So I'm going to get you to roll a D100, and you are trying to roll under a 60. Of course, if you get particularly low, you might get a higher level of success. But at this stage, let's just start by rolling a 60. Just before you do, unless you've already rolled it, in which case I've missed the boat, we always have in RuneQuest the option to augment our rolls. And this means that we can use our passions and our runes to try and get a bonus to any of the rolls that we have. So if you have a particularly strong conviction listed in your passions, or you have a particularly strong rune, I might make a suggestion for you at this point. trolls are creatures of darkness. So I think it would be fine for you to try and augment using your darkness rune, which is quite high. You have a 17 darkness.
That's true. That is true.
That said, if you can only augment one thing a scene, so you might want to save it just in case things are about to kick off and you'd like to augment your one of your weapon skills instead.
And if you do fail, there's a downside. It takes away from the dice.
Right. Yeah. So we're just gonna stick straight to scan and see what we get.
All right. Please hit us with your D100 roll.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
39.
Perfect.
That's not bad.
Nice.
That is a success.
Well done, Dallas.
Dallas
I am
dice
not-
roller. Well done.
I am not Dallas Dice.
Yeehaw.
Rakos Wolf Killer. Okay. There's a difference.
Fantastic. Okay, so as you glance around and your eyes are sort of tracking about, trying to get any information about what have happened, you can see this sort of trail of destruction, basically, that heads down where various things have been grabbed. But you will spot a couple of like clay pottery amphoras that have been littering, and some of them appear to have troll markings on them. It occurs to you, and as you smell the scent of alcohol in the air, these trolls are drunk. And they appear to have been literally wandering down the street when they ran out of their own stuff to drink, started grabbing other stuff. And,
It's a night out.
now they're hungry. That chicken was the equivalent of like, a 1 a.m. kebab.
Oh.
So perfect.
Relatable content.
I'm very sympathetic now. We should let them go.
All right. Now we know the approximate procedure. So can I get the other three of you to make an intelligence ×5 roll? So going through everybody, Yanioth, your intelligence is 16, which, as we have previously now learnt,
It's an 80s.
yeah, excellent. And you have a base intelligence of 18, Mago, and you have a base intelligence of 15, Vasana.
I'm a
Look at you, mate.
genius.
Pretty good. So I will get you all to make these rolls.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, Yanioth.
All right,
Oh,
Yanioth,
Yanioth. Yeah.
Nice.
absolutely crushing it.
That's a
Now,
special, I think.
It is. It is a special success. So that is below a 5th of your skill, which means that is a special success, a higher value of success. Mago, unfortunately, wait, actually,
That's a
no,
success.
you've got
I'm
an 18.
not-
Yeah, you've got a success as well.
I'm
Bloody
90.
hell. Yeah, well done. And Vasana, you've all succeeded, but Yanios, you have gotten a special success. So what you will all realize, because you've all gotten this basic level of success, is that it takes a whole lot to get a troll drunk. You know, they must have consumed an incredible amount of liquor, which is a pretty big deal. Yanioth, special successes, you're thinking that it's not just that they've drunk a lot, it's an effort. It is hard for a troll to come across that much, and it's a big investment. There's something wrong. This isn't a casual, oh, the trolls got drunk and they're causing something. They are upset about something, and they would only be undertaking this kind of behavior for a particular reason.
Oh, okay, good to know.
How valuable is liquor? Like, is them drinking the wine like they've gone for something really expensive, or is it like everyone's got pretty common, like, free access to booze?
You know, at the minute, supplies are in relatively short supply, so it's not appreciated, definitely. But this isn't disastrous.
Okay.
Mead
Gotcha.
is pretty commonly made. Wine is pretty commonly made. This is not a catastrophe. It is a large annoyance.
I'm with you.
Yes.
If she can, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please, Yenia, jump in.
Yeah, if she can, she's going to skirt up directly behind Vasana, who had just done the, state your business, what do you want? And she's going to whisper in her ear, it takes a lot to get one of them drunk. Maybe they're grieving, maybe something has happened, but this requires some form of intentionality. I would tread with understanding. And then she's going to step back because her sister is a badass and she knows her sister knows how to handle business.
Fantastic.
That note, Vasana's going to change her tone.
All right. Are you sounding more understanding then, more inquisitive? What's your approach?
More empathetic towards them.
Okay, perfect. So this troll staggers forward, and when you put up a hand, it's rather brave of you. You know, you kind of come in front of it, and it stops and move. Move, it says twice, trying to kind of gesture you away. It's not knocking you down. It doesn't want to do that. It's just telling you to move.
How slow is his arm moving?
He's had a few. I'm
gonna catch his arm lightly.
Move.
I don't wish to move. I wish to help you. State your business.
Can you make for me either a trade talk or an orate check?
I would love to do an orate check if you don't mind.
That is absolutely fine. Now remember, do you have any passions or runes here that you think could come into question? Off the top of my head, you could use your darkness rune, like Barakos had the option to. You could use your harmony rune if you have a high harmony rune to try and smooth things out. You could try your if you have any passions that are relevant. I'm trying to think off the top of my head for the sun.
Yeah, so see if I can spend this correctly. Because I was looking at honor as well. It's more to preserve the troll's honor. That she's trying to help him.
I like that.
To not embarrass himself.
I really like that. I
Time
think
to go
that's
home,
great.
mate. Let's get you a cab.
Fantastic. Exactly. Yeah. So that sounds absolutely perfect for me. So your honor score is, as I just bring it up here, 70. Fantastic. So we'll try and invoke that. So why don't you make a D100 roll, and you are trying to roll under a 70.
Oh, so close.
So close. Okay. So with a failure on honor, what you don't realize perhaps is that maybe by catching the troll's arm in, the troll culture, this is a besmirchment of his honor, and he's now honor bound to try and get angry at you or something like that. So unfortunately, what we're going to do is you are going to reduce your orate skill by 10%.
Oof.
Is that permanent or just
no,
temporary?
that is just for the duration of this scene, and then it will go away, and you will come back to normal.
Copy.
All right, so make an orate check, and against your new value, your base orate is
35.
35. Okay, so this is not fantastic, but we'll do our best. So now 30.
Oh, that's not great.
That is.
Oh, we're fighting.
Not very.
Oh, we're fighting
at all.
Oh,
All right.
boy.
So the troll like puffs out his face. The other trolls all kind of gather round, and they're watching, kind of. Not shocked. They're watching like entertained. They want to see what happens here. The troll pulls back his hand from you, and he starts to kind of stomp around in what is very clearly some kind of like posturing sort of situation. He plants himself, and he's telegraphing what he's going to do. He looks like he's going to push you. You can push him back if you would like, or you can step away.
Get his ass.
Now this isn't effectively going to combat. He's not drawing his club. You're not drawing your sword. This is a, hey, come on, you're both kind of shoving each other.
Oh, I'm gonna push him.
Oh,
Get
fantastic. Okay, brilliant. I will
There we
get
go.
you to roll a strength check. And I am also going to roll a strength check on behalf
How strong
of the
can a
troll.
massive troll possibly be?
They're
Right,
pretty strong.
So, for the
That's just as a
strength
ball.
check.
Yeah, strength times 5. So,
Thank you. I just want
yeah,
to check to make sure that I was gonna do that right.
brilliant. All right, here we go.
Oh, come on, Vasana.
That's
Oh.
good. That's good.
That is pretty good. And I will now roll.
Ugh, that feels better.
Okay.
Feels a little bit better.
That is better. In
Oh.
fact, it is a special success on the part of the troll. So you shove this troll as hard as you can and plow into it. It's a heroic effort. For a human, this would have sent them flying. Unfortunately, this thing is just, it's 10 feet tall. It is packed muscle, and it and pushes you backwards. You don't fall flying, but you do stagger backwards, regain your footing, and then the trolls line up, and suddenly the two of you are kind of lining up against each other. And this one troll, who's puffing a bit and is perhaps embarrassed about it because he's just been shown up and forced to exert himself by a puny human, is going, all humans mean to us. Us is the term that trolls use to describe themselves, the sort of collection of them. We was robbed. Corantor robs us. We take back and leave. And he gestures around at some of the merchant's goods that are still kind of like littering around.
What did I say? Carantor?
Carantor.
Is that anything we recognize?
Robbed us.
That's not like a name or like a region or something we'd immediately know?
Not a name of a region. You all have...
Carantor.
You also all have Homeland Law Sartar. Whoever has the highest in Homeland Law Sartar is welcome to make a roll.
Oh, man.
35.
35?
Anyone else higher than me?
I'm 40.
Yes, 30. 30.
There you go.
I might do it on 40 then.
Okay, Mega, please.
Here we go.
I have a quick mechanical question.
Go right ahead.
I understand that you can augment things through runes or other ways. Is there a way you can throw aid to other people before they roll?
Unfortunately, there's not an assisting mechanic in RuneQuest, so you cannot jump in and help people. So you can adjust rolls up and down based on the difficulty. So if you're all piling in together, I can adjust, like, add this many points, add and subtract that many points. But there is not a base assisting mechanic like in Call of Cthulhu where you are granted a bonus die.
Got it. Dave, apologies.
Excellent.
I was just curious. Sorry.
82.
I failed.
Carantor, unfortunately not. This doesn't ring any bell in your head. If it is a local piece of information, it is particularly local. The two of you continue to line up. Do any of you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go find one of the other ones, an adjacent troll, and start sizing up with that one. I didn't get the information that they were grieving necessarily. I got that they were drinking a bunch, and I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna go, sure, it's a lot of drink for a big fella, but I can put more away by weight alone. See if he wants to do a drinking competition to embarrass him and prove that I can outdrink a troll.
That is genuinely absolutely fantastic. Man. One of the trolls, like, it starts to kind of grunt back at you. It's a lot of kind of pointing at stuff. Yeah, but the body language alone, he's getting it. Are any of you else throwing out anything at the same time?
I mean, I was going to, but now I'm more entertained by Mago.
Okay.
I had a whole approach. It was like, let's go down to grieving. No, you know what? Let's see where the drinking game goes.
Yeah, this one.
I've grabbed like a side one as well. Like, I think the big guy's still squaring off with Basana.
I think they have exactly the same reaction as you. They're all not so different, you and I. You all are like squaring off. Is this going to get tense? Then the drinking contest happens and everyone kind of goes, and looks across.
From the troll's perspective, they're like, yeah, we also have an idiot in our group too. Watch this.
Greg was just shaking his head, Things of pleasure aren't for him, but he's London's all for it.
Excellent. So the collection of you all look over. You can see this poor merchant who's like wine store just happens to be there. Go, because this is gonna be costly. But eventually, the one troll will reach over and will grab a large amphora of wine, bite off the top, swallow the rocky top, and shove the broken bit towards you. Like, not as in trying to stab you, as in handing you the amphora.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach into my like little pouch, grab a fistful of coins, drop it on the table, because I'm not going to steal from the fella, just to make sure we're squared up, and then I'll grab it and try and
I thought you were trying to make a bet. No, good on you.
No. I just drop it on the table. I don't look at the guy,
yep.
But I'm focusing on the troll. But I will just make sure we pay for the drink.
Okay, fantastic. We can reconcile the cost of that after the session.
All good.
You take the amphora. The troll takes the other amphora. The two of you stare each other down, and then I don't know if there's a troll or a trade talk version of chug, 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 chug. But something starts, and the two of you begin to drink.
I do look around to see how impressed everyone looks with me. Varakos, obviously going to be hugely on board.
Oh, absolutely. Yanioth, would you be cheering?
Oh, listen, at this point, she's trying to get other audience members in on this one. Merchants who can't, like, hey, listen, just leave that 10 alone. This is really entertaining. Come here, check this out. Have you ever heard of someone in a drinking competition with a troll? Like, let's liven this up a little bit.
A crowd of people are starting to form, and as you get them around Yanioth, you will hear a high-pitched voice go, "What's going on?" As you see Faran come through to investigate the disturbance. One of the merchants nudges him and says, "You need to take care of that," and points at the troll. And Faran goes, just completely out of his depth immediately. Meanwhile, we go across. I think a Constitution ×5 check seems like the most logical version here. Is there anything you'd like to augment with? You paid this guy. Genuinely, I could see honor at this point.
I'm not really doing this for honor, though. I'm doing this for, like, selfish, like, upping myself in my head.
Disharmony?
Yeah, disorder? Disorder, was that what you're thinking?
Disorder? Yeah, disorder.
Actually, I've got as good a chance of reducing my roll. I'm gonna go straight.
All right, let's go. Hit us with the roll as you begin to drink.
So my constitution is 12, not actually as high as I would have hoped, so I'm rolling under 60.
Oh, good luck, good luck, good luck.
Oh no, come on!
God, that is such a shame. And the troll...
I imagine that's a success.
It's not by much. The trolls are not very constituted compared to how strong they are. So this troll drinks through it. Both of you, I think, finish the amphora and like manage to hold yourselves up. And you are the one who gives this like horrid hiccup at the end, and the troll doesn't. And that is enough for the trolls to like declare victory. And they kind of laugh. The one who was challenging you spins back towards you, Visana. The tension has lowered a ratchet after watching the drinking contest, and the troll will say, humans rob Skorantor. Rob, he is a thief.
Why would he rob you? What brought them to do that, or him to do that to you guys?
Tell us come here for battle, we come, no Skorantor. We make a long journey.
I see no Skorantor for a lot. We also make a very long journey here. So we understand how frustrating that might be to not be able to meet with the person that you were supposed to meet with.
Leans in. You find us, Skorantor?
We are... If I knew who Skorantor was, perhaps maybe we can add that to our missive that we are supposed to be on.
The troll kind of leans back, crossed his arm. He looks around. There is a crowd forming, and you know, as I mentioned, the trolls are they don't really want to like trash the place and leave. This is an escalating situation which they're not necessarily comfortable with as well. And you have kind of delayed things for a bit of a crowd to form. They will all grab themselves another amphora or two of liquor and go to sort of like stomp out of the town, basically signify, unless any of you wants to try and make to stop them, this is done for them. They are ready to leave. Yes, Hassan?
Wait. I have one bargain to make with you. You help us, and we'll help you. I would love to utilize my charisma stat for this.
Sure, okay. So, let me think how this is going to go. So typically what I would do is I would ask you for like another orate check or something like that. That is the kind of default conversation communication setup. And your charisma stat is factored into the bonuses that you get there. But I'll tell you what, you're not necessarily offering a direct bargain. You're kind of offering friendship. So if you want to make an actual bargain and have them sit around and talk to you, I will say you can make another trade talk check, or you can make an orate check. Alternatively, if you just want it to be that this kind of ends on okay terms, and this troll is maybe like, okay, you know, these people were pretty reasonable, I can talk to them, you can make a charisma ×5 check.
What's your charisma?
I mean, my intent is actually to really try to get them on our side, so that if we go into some sort of fight for our mission, we have them with us.
Bunch of trolls.
That is very good thinking. This is the kind of thing you want to do in RuneQuest. You want to get allies. That would be an ongoing negotiation. If you want to roll that now, I'll kind of ask for a trade talk or something like that. If you want to just, what you can always do is you can just roll your charisma and you can kind of be like, we're sort of friends now. We understand each other.
Yeah.
And then you can go to make that plan later.
Yeah, I like that.
So why don't you make a charisma ×5?
So my charisma is a 19.
Oh, easy success. So the troll kind of looks towards you, and Visana, you do not have a very high darkness rune like it, but still, it respects you, and it kind of looks towards you. You're a warrior. It's a warrior. You know, he nods and,
okay.
friends with us, and gestures kind of widely. Then they take their loot and they begin to stomp out of the city just in time for you to hear loud whistles. And at last, after quite a long time, the actual backup city guard has arrived. At this point,
They
about
are 12-year-olds.
12-year-old.
Yeah, and they have wooden swords.
Exactly. There's a, it is a ragtag bunch. Either soldiers who are well past where they should have retired, or well before when they should have started working.
Yeah,
but in numbers, I love that saying, quantity has a quality of its own. And a bunch of people come through, and they start to yell, and one of them, say Fine, yells, "Drop the wine!" And one of the trolls drops it, shatters on the ground, and you hear the merchant go, "Ah!" As it immediately happens. And very quickly, the trolls are, being arrested. And as part of the chaos, a couple of guards are going to come towards you, including whoever seems to be their commander. This is a woman. She is wearing very sensible clothes, and she has the runic demarcations of a initiate of Lancor Mai. That is the god of knowledge. The most clear mark that signifies her as an initiate of Lancor Mai is that she wears a fake beard. Because all sages, all worshippers of the god of knowledge, must have a long beard, because that's what sages do.
That's what you stroke or whatever, yeah.
Exactly. So she is wearing one. As she comes forward, and she will say, "What's going on here? You saw this happen. You avoided a fight though, right?"
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I applaud your attempts to resolve this peacefully. If this had continued much, and a couple of locals are sort of yelling, you succeeded in your charisma, and people saw what you were trying to do, and they seem relatively happy. So this woman, who introduces herself as Jojira, will say, "I'm the assistant to the city's Rex, and we heard the news late. I'm sorry it took us so long to arrive. Listen, we're going to need to sort this out, and we'll need to question the collection of you. Can we move away from the street, help clean things up here? Let's adjourn for a moment, if that's quite all right. I understand you must be who Onagrim Holdfast is expecting."
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Things move pretty quickly after that. You can see a couple of people bustle in and start to help clean up. The locals seem a little quite annoyed, actually. You get the feeling that the guards didn't help. It took this random group of heroes, which you happen to be, to get anything done. And this seems like it's something that is maybe happening a bit more and more often in this town. But the collection of you are taken away. If you had gotten into some kind of open brawl, you might have been taken to the city prisons, which is where you believe that the trolls are going to be taken to. You did not, though. You were upstanding citizens. And Mega, we've been paid for the wine. So instead, the collection of you are pulled aside, and you are taken towards the Temple of Izaris. That is the god of trade and communication. It's kind of a holding point. Virakos, you very well might have stayed here for a while when you arrived to the town relatively recently.
Is this the Lancor Me temple?
No,
so it's separate. This is just where she's based out of.
No, so she isn't based out of there. She's taking you there because it is quite late. She basically says, "Look, let's talk about this in the morning. The Asaris temple brings in all people to be hosted, and you can rest there for a time. And in the morning, I will have you meet with Onagrim." So the collection of you are taken through into the Asaris temple. Molon, your bison, is taken care of and stabled. You are given food. You are given rest. Those of you who wish, you may bathe. You are given a moment to relax and collect your thoughts. Is there anything you wish to do that evening?
Yanniath is just curious how long they plan on holding the trolls for. And what is the procedure? Like, are they going to go through a trial? Is this just a drunk tank? Like, she wants to kind of understand what that is.
Before you were taken into the Asaris temple, which, by the way, is this very grand building, being the sort of god of trade and civilization. This is a very ornate, lots of pillars and that sort of thing. Jojira will explain. They'll be tried in the morning and given some kind of fine for destruction of property, I presume. We will need you there as witnesses to explain what happened.
Is that the Rex, then, that will try them?
That's right. Onagrim will be there, and he will speak to you afterwards, I'm sure. I know he's just as keen to meet you as I'm sure you are to meet him.
He would be. Good. Do you know who Carantor is?
Carantor.
Yeah.
Yes, Carantor was one of the city's nobles. He was killed in the Battle of Dangerford.
He was. He was. Which side was he on?
Oh, he's on our side. He fought for Sata.
Good. Right. Good.
No, he's been dead some time now. Sorry, that is wrong. He was not killed in the Battle of Dangerford. He was killed in the liberation of the city. So he was killed.
Oh, so he wasn't.
Earlier.
So we wouldn't recognize him or anything. Yeah.
No. He was killed in the liberation city.
How long ago was the liberation, approximately?
Several months.
So he could have summoned the trolls, died, then they arrived.
The timing works out almost suspiciously well.
I have a question, just a quick question, interjection. The liberation of Sardar and the liberation of Jonstown, is that?
The liberation of Sartar is kind of a campaign. It's a long period of battles in which the liberation of Jonstown would have been part of that.
As that goes through.
Yes, yeah, it's the ongoing liberation of Sartar would have been several. First this town, then this town, then this town, then this town, that sort of thing.
I'll lean over to Vasana and just say, "We're gonna struggle to introduce him to the trolls, then." Given he's dead.
That?
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a struggle.
Maybe they'll want something else. We'll sort it out.
We'll see. Fingers crossed. Anyway, the collection of you can rest in the temple. It is very nice for what it's worth. Sari, as you know, is one of the gods whose cult tends to value wealth and trade. So, of course, the temple is very opulent, and you were given a great time to rest. Before you are summoned the following morning, you were taken through the streets of Jonstown, weaving between the tight streets up into the higher city, which is much more open. The houses are more ornate, and you will eventually be taken to the council halls, where you'll be led past a set of guards into this kind of squat, well-made building, into a large hall where there is a desk and a long area where petitioners could line up to go and approach the desk. And sitting behind it, you will see Onagrim Holdfast. He is a warrior. Was once a brave warrior, and then he was made a mayor. And he realized that he could get a lot of food, and could take it a bit easy. So it's that muscle turning to fat. Like he's done his hard years, and he's having a bit of a relax now. He's still got some crumbs on his shirt, as if he's just had breakfast, which he is brushing off as you come in. Hello, the collection of you. Welcome to my city. Please come forward. I am delighted to see the champion selected by Kalia. Please, you must tell me your names. As he glances across the lot of you, Mago perhaps slightly disappointed that he does not recognize you immediately.
Oh, if Yaniyov Khan, that sounds like an invitation for her to make introductions
Hell
of
yes.
these amazing, spectacular warriors, which is going to start with Vasana, because obviously you know who she is. You know her by her bison, by her grace, by her bravery, and most importantly, by her justice and her leadership. And then we'll throw in a quick story from the Battle of Dangerford for additional razzle-dazzle. And then it's going to be the stoic, ice-cold wolf killer Varakos, who not only wears the pelt of his kill upon his shoulders, but upon his flesh and upon the darkness and death of his heart. And then we're going to get to Mango. I'm kidding. Mago.
Mago was like getting hyped for it as it was coming too. You knew where it was going. Here we go.
And here we go. And this is Mago the brave, Mago the bright, Mago who, the camps at Dangerford still tell his stories. Children weep of his victories at night, and women swoon at his name. And I am but a mere humble priestess of...
You are so modest. Excellent.
Right, a mere humble priestess of Granada, who is happy to present these fine warriors to you.
Fantastic. Do you want to make an orate check? So that is
I do.
Brilliant. Once again, this is a new scene, so you can augment this. I mean, you are really hyping up your family here. I think you could.
May I please
your
do
passion,
family?
Love family. Absolutely. Yes.
Let's see how that works. So a 70,
oh
you get
my
a 16.
God.
Good.
Nice.
Is that a special
off.
success?
14.
It's just off. Okay, that's all right. It's
so
still
close.
a regular success. So you only add plus 20%, bringing your orate skill to 80 instead of 60.
Beautiful. And then
Nice.
rolling that again, the
Come on.
orate. is an 11.
Oh my god, so that is a special success. You genuinely, like, this is a proper introduction. You do all of the required greetings, and you are a priestess of Analda. This is a very, or apprentice priestess of Analda. This is a very symbolically important role within the culture of this land. You do the introductions, and Onagrim, you know, stands and nods and bows, and there is the exchanging of traditional greetings and all kinds of stuff. He seems genuinely very pleased to have you here, and he extends his heartfelt thanks for how you helped, you know, assist with the disturbance in the marketplaces. I really can't. We've had trouble trying to keep the peace in the city with all of the guard away, and with more and more, you know, problems at our door every day. I am pleased that you are here, and I will do my best to give you work and to show you that together we can bring Jonstown into a better place. Speaking of which, I will need your words shortly. He turns to one of his aides and instructs them to bring in the trolls. As the aide darts off and he turns back towards you, he will say, so briefly, you saw what happened. They were destroying property. Is that the whole story?
Well, it seems that there was a misunderstanding that they were supposed to meet somebody, but, Margo, who were they supposed to meet again?
Carantor, he's a noble of yours, but unfortunately he's dead.
Right. Jojira nods kind of enthusiastically, and she will say, well, that makes sense. You know, they arrived and they wanted to meet with Carantor and they couldn't, and therefore they got angry. They made a long trip. It's relatively reasonable reaction on their part. And
I have to ask though, what business do your nobles have summoning trolls to do their battles? Do you have not heroes or guards that can hold their spears?
I imagine that Carantor was trying to gather up as many soldiers as he could to assist at the Battle of Dangerford. A couple of trolls would have fought well alongside.
I yield the floor. Very reasonable.
Pretty soon, the trolls will be brought back up, and a small debate is going to start. The trolls aren't really saying much, and they don't really appear to fully understand the problem. There's a lot of halting trade talk thrown back and forth, and you can all quickly get the sense of the situation of what's going to happen. Onagrim thinks that they destroyed some property. He doesn't particularly care for whatever their excuses was. He's going to give them a fine, and basically, you know, one of them has like a small coin purse. Take some of their money. They don't have a ton of it, but you know, they'll take that and send them on their way. Jojira seems to be a lot more understanding. She is kind of going, look, this is maybe there's a different way we can go about this. Maybe they can you know, they wanted to work. Is there some way that we can give them some work, or at least you know, don't just take their money. They didn't necessarily understand what was happening, and the argument starts to go back and forth. You get the sense that there is maybe a slight bit of not hostility, but a very different management style between Jojira and Onagrim, one that doesn't necessarily land well together. As the heroes, as the witnesses, do the collection of you want to weigh in one way or the other? I'll say here. Oh, sorry, but the sign after you.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm not one to get in the middle of politics, specifically between people who like live in the same town. I'm just gonna kind of listen for tonality to make sure it doesn't turn hostile.
That's a good call. It doesn't appear to be turning overtly hostile, no. I just want to say Virakos very quickly. You, as a Humakti, Humaktis often become like oath keepers. They are seen as very, very honest and loyal. Your word here of like, this is the truth, would probably have a lot of weight in this situation if you feel particularly strongly.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I think he would back that up, saying, you know, is there a role I would have to do?
At this stage, you can just talk. I might ask you to make a roll if you're trying to appeal a certain position, but for now, what do you want to sort of stand up and say?
I think he'll back up just like based on what he saw, and he'll just kind of like look to the group as well, just for backup. But he's kind of taking the charge of saying, I mean, my stance is with these people here.
Okay, fantastic. So you're basically just, supporting the general vibe of the group, or are you specifically aligning with the trolls? Just to make sure that I'm clear.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say with the trolls. Are we with the trolls?
Yeah. Well, that sort of
Team trolls.
They seem
Yeah.
cool.
Trolls. Team trolls.
Team trolls.
Exactly, team trolls. Okay,
Yeah.
Brilliant. In which case, Jajira seems very pleased with that. With that, and she kind of nods towards you. Onagrim ultimately seems to kind of just be full of bluster and not really care. So he will, very well then. See them. As long as you plan to leave, there will be no punishment taken. And they sort of signal an intent to leave the town. And as they head out, the one that spoke to you, Vasana, will turn towards you and says, "If you seek us, we'll be on the other side of the river, to the west."
Sounds good, thank you.
They will nod and they will turn away. Onagrim kind of scoffs to himself for a moment, and he will say, "Well, at least that's done, and now we can get towards more important matters." He will stand and he will walk forward, coming around until he's in front of the collection of you, where he clasps his hands together and says, "I think that the heroes are here, and therefore we need to turn towards heroic business. I want you to go and speak towards the Milani. We have news from out west, and if what we think is happening is true, the Lunas are out there, and they are up to no good." And in the distance, camera zooms out, and you will see across the rolling hills and fields in the distance, there is an idyllic little meadow filled with beautiful little quaint farmhouses, this wonderful place, but everything inside is completely silent and empty. And I think we'll leave the session there.
No.
As a first introduction, as you were given a first taste of your quest. You've arrived in Jonstown. We know our characters, and we are ready to move forward. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
everybody.
Jim.
Thanks so much.
Awesome.
One last goodbye quickly. London, thanks so much. Where can we find you online?
Yes, on Twitter at London Carlisle. You could find me there.
Brilliant. Cynthia?
Also on Twitter at Cindancer, or Instagram Cynthia__Marie.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. Bridget, where can we find you?
Bridget, bridge that you walk across, 2 T's at chaosium.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Bridget. And Dave?
As quick as possible. Hi, Dave. Yeah, good trip, fun trip.
Perfect. That's the one. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back with more RuneQuest shortly. You can also check out our Call of Cthulhu games on the Stream of Chaos. Thank you very much to our cast, and we'll see you next time.